On this video, I'm going to be covering how to properly adjust the pegs on the violin, viola, or cello. Because these pegs, if you don't know how to adjust them properly, you might break a string, or the peg might not stay in tune, or it might just make the string unravel completely and make it unplayable. So please make sure you watch this video to the end before you try it, because there's a couple of really important things that you need to remember when you're turning it that take a little practice. So it might seem frustrating and daunting at first, but with a little practice this becomes routine, and this is something that for the most part beginning students are not allowed to do, especially if they are children in elementary school age, because it takes a bit of strength to adjust these, but more than anything it takes fine muscle control and control of that strength. Please make sure to watch this video till the very end, because there's a couple of pointers that if you miss them you might actually break a string, break a peg, or leave it stuck in there, or break the bridge. I mean, there's many things that could go wrong. So make sure you see me adjusting the pegs, and you get a really good idea of how it is before you try it. You see, guitars, basses, mandolins, and other string instruments might have a gear mechanism that allows the pegs to turn smoothly. These don't. Violin, viola, and cello pegs are just stuck in here by pressure. They literally are just pressed in here, and that's all that's holding it. If all you do is turn, the peg will come completely loose, and you see the string is completely unplayable right now. So there is no pitch to this one. Now, before adjusting the pegs, make sure to check the angle that the bridge is making in regards to the belly of the violin. You want the bridge to be vertical. If the bridge is leaning this way, as soon as you start putting tension on the string, the bridge is going to collapse, and sometimes they break, and bridges are kind of expensive to replace. So whether it is tilted this way or that way, make sure you adjust it first. It has to be vertical, and it also has to be aligned with the fingerboard. You see that the strings, when they make a certain pattern, see this string is completely loose. We're gonna fix that in a little bit, but in general the strings have to be centered. If you look at the middle two strings, these two strings have to run at the center, very much at the center of the fingerboard. You can also look at the two strings on the side. This is a G and this is a E string, but see, this string is off the little notch where it belongs, so I'm going to try to put it right there. We go. I hope. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That looks about right. Okay. So check the edge of the fingerboard and make sure that the distance between the edge of the fingerboard and the string on each side is about the same on each string. And then we can start adjusting the pegs. So let me show you how. Okay, so here's how you adjust the pegs. Let me start from the beginning. It's very simple. 3 steps. First, make sure you have a good grasp of the violin itself. Then make sure you have a good grasp of the peg box and scroll, so that you can have opposing pressure against the hand that is going to be adjusting the peg. Now, hold the peg with your thumb and your index finger. Press firmly, but also push against your supporting hand. In other words, I am pushing against my left hand. So my right hand is grabbing the peg, my left hand is supporting the push from my right hand. So at the same time that I'm doing that, I am going to turn the peg in very small increments. A good guideline for me is usually that as soon as I feel the peg moving a little bit, I stop. Then I check the string by plucking it to see how much it has changed. I turn a little bit. As soon as it starts moving, I stop. Don't keep on cranking it, because that is a recipe for disaster. So don't keep on cranking it like I did the very first times that I tried it. I broke several strings, and I almost broke the peg box itself completely. I made it break over here because I was pushing the peg too hard. And I even grabbed a little mallet, a rubber mallet, and started to tap on it, not knowing that, well, as the luthier told me when he was fixing it, well, that's how we split rocks. I did not know that. So make sure that, yes, that you press against your supporting hand, but you don't need an extreme amount of pressure either. So, okay, so let's start again. You need a supporting hand, pluck the string, push in, start turning, and stop. As soon as it turns a little bit, stop. See? Pluck, grasp, turn only a little bit, keep checking the string. You can hear it changing as you adjust it, a little bit at a time. Now this violin is brand new, so I am adjusting the string quite a lot because the strings were very loose, and that's normal. When they first ship you a violin, the strings are completely loose. But see, I'm repeating the operation the same way. I don't lose my grip on the peg box and the scroll at the same time. This is a very firm grip, and I also grasp the peg firmly and turn, just barely. Just as soon as the peg starts moving, that's when you stop. Now I'm gonna do it on the other side. We're just going to reverse our hands for this, very simple. So again, grasp the peg box and the scroll very firmly. Grasp the peg as well with your thumb and index, and then turn a little bit. Pluck that string. If you don't know what string that is, follow the string all the way to the peg, and that way you know where it belongs. This is useful especially if you never play violin, or if you're a parent who wants to tune the violin for your child. So make sure you grasp the peg box firmly. Grasp the peg, and as soon as you start feeling it turning, that's when you stop. Keep checking how the string sounds, so that way you can hear it getting tense as you adjust it, and that way you run very little risk of breaking the string or doing any other kind of damage to your violin. Keep repeating the same steps for the two strings on the side. This is the G string, this is the E string. So I'm going to adjust those so you can see. So I'm going to grasp the right side of the peg box, and I'm going to grasp the peg. So you can see that this string is completely loose and it has no pitch right now. So I'm going to start cranking it very little at a time. See, I keep on plucking it because you might not see it. You might not see the tension doing any change to the string, but you can hear it. Hear that? Okay, now we got a pitch. See how much the pitch changes even if I turn the peg very little? Now, most beginner violins are strung up with steel strings. Steel strings are very durable, but they're also very rigid. That means that you have to be even more careful when you turn the pegs, because if the string is more rigid, it'll be affected faster by any changes in tension. So as long as you are careful to stop turning the peg as soon as it starts moving, you should be fine. This is really not a terribly complicated operation, but most people don't know that these pegs are not as easily adjustable as guitar pegs. This is to show you how easily adjustable guitar pegs are. I can keep cranking it, and the string sound changes a lot slower than it does on a violin. And see, on a violin peg, all I did was this, and you can hear a big change on the string. I'm gonna do it again so you can hear the difference. You couldn't even hear it much. I'll keep doing it. Usually, I'm not sure if this is accurate, but on a guitar, you can do a whole turn, and the string will barely change as much as it did on the violin with barely any movement at all. So this is why we have to be extra careful when we turn violin, viola, or cello pegs. The tips that you learn in this video are applicable to violin, viola, and cello. On my next video, I'm going to cover how to tune the violin or viola or cello with a phone app. And this is a very useful thing to know. There are many of them that are free, and once you know the basics, they're very easy to use, and this way you can keep your instrument in tune all the time. It is super important that it is in tune, because that way you can evaluate what you're doing and what you're practicing for homework, so that you know if you're doing it right at all. There's nothing more frustrating and discouraging than having a violin or whatever instrument it is, especially string instruments, that they are out of tune and you are doing the right thing, but it sounds wrong. That is so discouraging when you're a beginner, and I want to make sure that you can do it yourself so you can be more self-sufficient and you don't necessarily have to wait for your teacher to tune it every week. You should be able to do this, or your parents should be able to do this to help you out. I hope this video was useful, and if you know anybody that might need any help tuning their violin or viola, cello, or if they have just gotten started and they don't know what to do, please share this video. Also, if you like these videos, please subscribe to my channel so you can be notified of any new videos that I publish. In the meantime, stay in tune for my next video. Thank you for watching. I'm Heka Rivera, and this is the Strings Learning Channel.